John here, and welcome to How Do You Do? Welcome to the Puppet Shop. How do you do? How you doing? I hope you're doing well. Today we are going to talk about juggling. Do you know how to juggle? Have you ever seen a juggler? When I was little, I was fascinated by people that could juggle, and so I taught myself how to juggle. And today I'm going to show you how you can learn to juggle, and we're going to make our very own juggling balls. So let's talk about juggling. I have many types of things that I like to juggle. Really, if you have 3 of anything, you can pretty much juggle. You can even juggle one thing if you make it feel like it's pretty spectacular. But we're going to learn how to juggle 3 things today. So these are performance juggling balls. These are a hard rubber. They're not like a bouncy ball, but they will roll away. And these are really nice because they're so large. So if you're on stage or you want people to really notice what you're doing, they're a great size to catch your eye. Bigger objects sometimes are easier to juggle, but sometimes are harder to juggle depending on the size that you are. So these are really nice, but we don't have these. We're not going to use these today. Another one that's very common are these type of juggling balls. These are like hacky sacks. So these are squishy, probably full of sand. What's nice about these is that when you drop them, they stay right where they are. These are great for practicing because when you learn to juggle, you tend to drop things a lot. And when things roll away, it's a different type of workout. And there's many different kinds. Hacky sacks or something when I was a kid. Those were great to practice with. They make ones that are more squishy. When you start juggling, you kind of have an opinion about how heavy of a juggling ball that you want. So tons of these. These are my favorite kind of juggling balls. These are also a type of performance balls. These are super heavy. They're also a little bit of a workout. These are my favorite size. I can juggle 3, but I have 5 of these because in this COVID lockdown, I've decided I'm going to try to learn to juggle 5 balls. So if I get good at it, maybe I'll show you. Hi, Kit Kat. She's just going to do a little dance down there. These are nice, but these are also a rollaway kind. So we are going to make today something that looks like this. These look very similar to my hacky sack ones, but I made these. These are made of lentils and balloons. What's great about these is if you have some balloons and lentils, you can make your own juggling balls. Juggling balls can also be kind of expensive, so this is a very cheap way to make juggling balls. Fun story, we did a show about Pinocchio years ago, and I played the villain, and when we captured all the children, scary scene, we took them to like a fun house, and all the cast had to learn how to juggle, and we couldn't afford to buy juggling balls, so we had to figure out how to make them. So I found this from a friend in town that's also a juggler, and he said, a great way to make juggling balls is balloons and lentils. So we made over 50 or 60 of these for the show. They work really well and they last a long time. What's great about them is they're a good weight to juggle. And if they fall, they stay right where they landed. So we're gonna make these today. Let's get started. All right, so let's start by making our very own juggling balls. First, because it's morning time in the puppet shop, I'm having some coffee. So cheers. If you are having a beverage while you make a craft, make sure it's safely away so it does not fall on your craft. So for this activity, you will need a pair of scissors. You will need some round balloons. You can find these at a grocery store. You may have them in your house, left over from a party. You'll need at least 3 to make your juggling ball shape, and then we're gonna wrap many more balloons around them. So I recommend about 15 balloons. 25 is even better. The more balloons, the stronger and more durable your juggling ball will be. You will also need a funnel, though this is kind of the weird, awkward, tricky part of our craft. I am going to make a funnel using a recycled plastic bottle because it worked for my needs better. So a funnel could work, but really I think the best thing is find yourself a plastic bottle, and what you'll do is we're going to cut it in half and use this to get our lentils into our balloons. And then you will need lentils. I have yellow, these are actually split peas, which are maybe a type of lentil? I'm not sure. I thought it was a lentil, but then it said yellow split pea. What's great about these is that they're rounded shape cut in half, which is kind of nice. Rice can be good. Sand is super messy. These are nice because they won't cut through the rubber balloon as much as like a long grain rice could. And I like these a lot, and they're pretty because they're yellow, but we'll never see them again because we're going to put them inside a balloon unless they pop, which we hope will not happen. So Once you have all of your supplies, let's get a making. First thing you want to do is make your funnel. So I had one when I was practicing this craft. All I did is I took a water bottle and I cut it about halfway through. This is definitely something you want an adult's help with. Now, one thing that's going to happen with this craft is we are going to use air from our mouths to blow the lentils into the balloon, which means that this cut area is actually going to go on your lips like this. This isn't very sharp, but it could be depending on how you cut it or what kind of water bottle you use. So I'd recommend putting some tape on here. I was able to cut mine pretty smooth. It didn't seem to hurt, but if this is hurting you, I'd put some tape around the edge so it doesn't cut you. This is the one I'm going to use because it makes a good seal. Darth Vader? I don't know. I thought it sounded like Darth Vader. If you have a funnel in your house, this would work too. Just I couldn't seal. This was too big for my mouth. Now I sound like Kylo Ren. I'm a big Star Wars fan. I don't know if people know that. I know I like theater, musical theater, but sci-fi is kind of my thing. So this would have worked, except it didn't. I'm gonna have to blow air into the balloon. But if you have a funnel and it fits your mouth, you don't have to use a plastic bottle. We're gonna get our lentils ready and we're going to pick our balloon. With my examples, of course, anytime I make something, what it looks like and what color it is important to me because I really like color. I found these were called like millennial wedding balloons. I have no idea why, but I thought they were kind of fun. They're kind of muted colors. You need to make 3 balls. I like them being 3 different colors because when you're learning to juggle, it helps you track the pattern, but you get to be the designer of your juggling balls. So these are the balloons I'm going to fill, and then while I'm here, I'm going to sort through, and I want about, at least if I can, 5 more. Depending on what color you want it to be, you could use pretty much any color to make your juggling ball and then wrap it in the color you like at the very end. Because I have enough, I'm going to keep it consistent so the colors don't change. But if you don't have a bunch of one color, you could save the color you like for the last wrappings. And that'll make more sense when you see it. So, got my purples, I've got my greens, I've got my peaches. First thing we're going to do is take your funnel and we're going to put the... Oh, Kit Kat, would you like to go upstairs? Hold on. So, first thing we're going to do is grab your funnel and you're going to place your balloon carefully over the funnel, trying to get empty space towards the middle. Now we're ready to fill about a small handful of lentils into our homemade funnel. So actually, no, I'm going to do 2 handfuls. Look at me. I would imagine that to be about half a cup, maybe 3/4 of a cup. First bit of the lentils that you put in will go in. When I first did this, I was like, well, how do I get more in there? It's really hard to stuff the lentils in there. So what I did is I filled it as much as gravity would let the lentils go in. Then I put a few more lentils in, and this is the weird part. This looks odd, but it works. So I am now going to put this on my mouth and blow air onto the lentils and push them into the balloon, actually inflating the balloon, allowing more space to let the lentils fall in. And it looks oddly like this. And now I just got more lentils into the balloon. Isn't that bizarre? It kind of works. One note, as you inflate the balloon, you put quite a bit of air in there to let the lentils go in. You might even have to shake to let the lentils get down. Let the air out slowly, otherwise you're going to get a firework of lentils. So now you get to pick the size. I would say somewhere between a lime and a lemon, depending on your hand. You can also, make a few and see if they feel right and make them a little bit bigger next time. You can even make more than 3 if you want. Make a few that are big, a few that are small. I'll go a little bigger than the ones I made last time. All right, here we go. Ready for the weird part? It's just a hair bigger. Should we go a little bit more? Let's go a little bit more. So that means I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 6 handfuls, as I will try to make all of these new juggling balls equal in size. All right. Yeah, that's a different size. I like that. Now we've got the size of juggling ball that we want. We're going to carefully take the balloon off our homemade funnel. And then now I'm going to try to get any of those lentils that are in the tongue of the balloon all the way back in, and now we're gonna tie it carefully. And that is step one. So now we have, looks like a little bit of fruit. But don't worry about this, because our next step is gonna make this kind of belly button tie go away, making our juggling ball nice and round. That's one, I gotta make two more. Okay, now we have our 3 juggling balls. Yay! Be very careful with these because they only have 1 layer of balloon around them, so they're very fragile at this point. I wouldn't even attempt to juggle yet. So now let's make them a little bit stronger. You could use any balloons you have, but the last 2 or 3 layers of this next process you would want to do in the color balloon that you want. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna turn our balloons kind of into little hats by taking the tongue off. These kind of look like the shape of a light bulb. So there's the tongue, and then they go into the round shape. I'm gonna cut them just a little bit past when it turns into the tongue. So something right about there. And we don't need that. If you have pets like I do, make sure you throw these scraps far away so they don't get them. So I'm just gonna do all of my cutting. Here we go. We now have our 3 juggling balls. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna basically put our little, we're gonna call them balloon hats, around our balloon. We're gonna start with the knot, or I call it the belly button, at the top. So I'm gonna start by putting one, oh, we have a special visitor. Hi, Kit Kat. You wanna come say hi? Come say hi. Are you gonna inspect? Yep, that's my coffee. All right, so you are going to open up your hat and put it on top of the belly button or the knot of the balloon. And what you'll kind of see is, it's very hard to see because it's the same color, but it doesn't quite cover the whole balloon. It covers about halfway. Thank you, Kit Kat. So now I'm gonna flip it over and put the next one going the other direction. And then I'm gonna repeat that process going from one side to the other side. And what this is doing is, one, it's making our juggling ball quite a bit stronger because it's got more layers, but it's also going to make it quite smooth and kind of a perfect sphere, which makes juggling a little bit easier. So each side, and I'm going to keep doing that to each one of these. I'm doing, you at least want to do 6, so you kind of have 3 layers per side. I think I did about 8 or so, depending on how many balloons you have. The worst thing that's going to happen is a lentil firework explosion, which is not dangerous, just as can be unfortunate. So once you've got, just want to show you, compare these two, and then I'll do the rest of them. Going from one side to the other side, and then you have this amazing homemade, beautifully colored juggling ball. And it is beautifully round and stops when it falls. So let me finish covering the rest of my juggling balls. All right, everybody, so now we have our 3 brand new juggling balls ready for juggling. So now, let's teach you how to juggle. I'm going to start with scarves. These are a great way to practice your juggling. Now, these are juggling scarves. They're not very expensive. You can get them online. A soft fabric, the softer or the more silky, the better. Maybe there's some scarves, like neck scarves in your house, or some really old bandanas. Maybe there's a silk shirt that your mom has said that she does not want and has said that you could cut into squares that you could use for juggling. Only if she said. Regardless, you want 3 1-foot by 1-foot squares, and you want to hold them in the middle. Now, why I like using scarves to practice is there is a pattern to juggling. There is the base, which is where your hands are, especially when you start using objects. And then there are 2 points that you want to hit. One here and one there. And the reason I cross to those points as opposed to go up and down is the pattern to juggling is you go to hit that point, and then he'll go to hit that point, and by that time, you're ready to go to do it again. And that is the pattern. A lot of time people think juggling is going in a circle like this. That is a way of juggling, but the pattern juggling that lets you progress to other shapes and other objects and more objects is our cross juggling pattern. With scarves, it's a little different because you can get a little bit more wild with it. So I like to start with 1 usually, and I'm gonna go from where my foundation is, the base, and go to the point. So I'm gonna throw this to the point and catch it in the other. And I'm gonna go for this one. And scarves, they're not as precise as a ball, but that's what's kind of nice. You can catch it easier than an object like a ball. So what I would do with your scarf is you just kind of go from point to point to point to point. And then once you feel like you've got that, that makes sense, you feel like you are in control of the scarf, you're gonna go to 2 and you're gonna go 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Make sure you catch them. So there's a little bit of a pause in there, leaving room for what will be the third one. 1, 2, 1, 2. Once you feel like you've got 2 down, then you incorporate 3. Now here's the tricky one. This is where 2 objects have to be in one hand. This, I would say, is the one difficult part about scarves, because having 2 scarves not get wrapped in each other is a little funky. So now we're going to practice 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I feel like I'm in the King and I. So it goes like this. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And you just try to catch them all at this point. We're not working in cycle yet. So 1, 2, 3. What's great about scarves is you can really get a lot bigger. 1, 2, 3. And then once you kind of feel like you can do that and you feel good about it, then you just keep going. My basement is a little short. You would like something a little bit higher. I'll get some leg workout. And that is a wild way to juggle with scarves. Let's move to objects. So let's use the ones we've made. So we're gonna do the same principle. So now we have 3, and the way you hold them is 2 in one hand, 1 in the left. I'm right-handed, so the double always goes in your dominant hand. And we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna start with 1, and now with scarves, it gets it's a little dramatic. With juggling, for good form, you want to practice that your hands stay down here. With the scarves, I tend to go and meet the scarf because they're a little bit more wild. You want to keep your hands down. You don't want to reach for the ball. You want to practice throwing the ball and having it land where you want it. Remember, we have those 2 points, 1, 2. So I'm going to throw 1 ball to that point and let it catch here. So it's going to go 1, and I'm going to send it back. 2, 1, 2. 1, 2. And you put on your favorite musical or your favorite TV show, and I would practice this for a day. If it's kind of all over, which every now and then you get one that's like that, you want to be able to just throw it without really that much movement from your body. I'm worse on my left. So back and forth. Then when that's better, you're going to incorporate your second ball, just like we did with the scarves, and we're going to practice 1, 2, 1, 2. Bump, bump, catch, catch. 1, 2, catch, catch. 1, 2, catch, catch. 1, 2, catch, catch. Then, when that's feeling really good, you've watched all of episode 2. You're going to go point, point, catch, catch, catch. Just like the scarves. 1, 2, 3, catch, catch. 1, 2, 3, catch, catch. 1, 2, 3, catch, catch. It's almost, we call that a cascade. 1, 2, 3. They're almost all in the air at the same point. And you'll also learn kind of what height works for you. You can juggle really tight, or you can send them really high up, but there is just kind of all 3 are in the air. You're also learning how to catch. You start with 2 in this hand, and when you stop, you're catching 2 in that hand. Then once you feel like this is all feeling more fun, you keep going. And that is juggling. And then once you've learned 3 and you can juggle, you can learn other patterns to your juggling, which makes a little routine. It's pretty fun. So my pro tip for juggling, because you are going to drop them all the time. I dropped my juggling balls thousands of times, and even though they don't roll away, you're bending down. It gets to be a little bit of a workout. So I recommend practice on your knees. You've never seen the floor of the puppet shop. It's very dirty. So the way I like to practice is like this. You can still practice your good form, but that way when they fall, they are just right where they fall. And you don't have to do bending up and down as much. It's also a little bit more comfortable. They fall, you're ready to pick it up again. That is a pro tip for learning how to juggle. If I can do this under this one. Thanks everybody! What a great time in the puppet shop! I hope you can make your own juggling balls and learn how to juggle. If you do, let me know how it's going. Reach out. I'm live on Tuesdays at 1. Have to think about that. If you want some juggling advice, let me know. I hope you can make your very own. You can make them for your whole family. Everybody can have a set of juggling balls. And it's a great thing to do outside as we're all at home. So go practice your juggling. Thank you for joining How Do You Do. I can't wait to see you again. See you next time. Bye!